Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Sagar Kakkala, and now here we are in like Build with Sagar Kakkala on the day two session. And here with us, like we have Ankit Joshi, like who is a React developer, and also my friend and like roommate and my ex-colleague as well. So he'll be taking a bit in the session, like taking over, like explaining the React code. And before we start this session, like since this session would be uploaded on YouTube, I'll share my screen to show like how things work here like because like here since my content is bit diversified into like finance, lyrics, travel and bit of other stuff, I'll just share screen to show how things work here. And okay, all you have to do is remember my name, Sarakala, and like when you search in Google, like you have my website, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And in YouTube, everything is separated by playlist. Oh, sorry. So in website, like everything is separated by contents of blog. And here, okay, I did not update this here. Like I'll update it shortly. Since this is day one, I'll be updating day two shortly. And in YouTube, everything is separated by playlist. And this session here would be uploaded in playlist build with Sagar Kakkala, like English. And like before this, like I'd recommend like to watch it in a consecutive order because like we are going to build this app in like a step by step order as like since like I'm from a DevOps background and not much into developing and stuff. So we'll be building this together and we'll be maintaining transparency all over this. One second, yes. 1 second. Okay. Now, um, I don't know what's happening. 1 second. Yeah, here in this session, like if you remember last time I discussed about the idea behind the app, like Gym per Day, how it originated and the status of the application and all. In the same way here, like in this session, like we'll discuss about authentication. In the last session, like we had only the landing page, if you remember. And like here, like we had added additional pages like login page, sign up page, forget password, and like we'll be integrating authentication as well. And like to integrate authentication, like we are going to use like there are a lot of apps, but like since Firebase is something like quick and easy, so I had chosen Firebase here. And like before, like we go on integrating authentication, like we'll have to do a like bit of configuration in Firebase. All you had to do is like if you have a Gmail account, like you could sign in directly into Firebase app. All you had to do is like search Firebase or like you'll have Firebase console. And like once you're in Firebase console signed in, like you could just click on create new Firebase project. Let me give something like Gem and like you could I don't need Gemini here for this and like not needing like Google Analytics as well because I'm turning off because it's just like we are not going to deploy it or deploy the application directly on a domain. Like this is something we're going to deploy on local host. So that is why. Mm,
No.
Hemant or someone can mute yourself, please. So once you're in this project, like we need an app, and here, like since like this is like web app, so I'm just going for web app, and here I'm just giving like no need of hosting register app. Yes. So here is where the configuration file comes. Like you could save this configuration file somewhere, or we could actually like look this into configuration file later. So the first part is done. Like here you have app, and like if you missed saving that configuration file, like you have settings, and here is where like you have all the configuration files. And here, like now, once the configuration is done, like because we need authentication as well. So I'm going for email password authentication. So you just have to like build authentication, get started. And here I'm going for a basic email password setup because like if you go for Google and everything, there were like additional setups. But since like we're in the beginning, I'm just going for email password. That's it. Yes, fine. And like the authentication is done. Like now we could have like email password authentication signed up and the other part. And because like once you log in, like let's say with email and password, there should be a database to store these credentials. So that's where we'll use the same database provided by Firebase itself, like instead of having a different database. So here create database. I'm just going for standard edition for this. Like you could click on any location, later you could change. Yeah, I could go for like anything, start in production mode or test mode. I'll like go for it later. Yes, since like I went in production mode, here are the rules here. If I want to change or something, I could just change the rules here. As of now, it only allows like allows data to read. Like let's say if you have credentials, it will only read, but it will not update. So I'm just like updating here. Let's say I just don't like I want to write and read. Yeah, it's done now. So the Firebase part has been done now. So we had like authentication, we had data store and everything. I'll show like how the credentials work as well. And here is where now things come. Like if you have Visual Studio, download the Visual Studio. And like this is our code here. Maybe it's better I'll show it in Visual Studio itself. So I'm just cloning them. Yeah, once you're here, like there is this file called firebase.js file, like which has this API keys and all. Like if you remember, like this is where we did let's go for so we need this configurations file. Just like copy paste this because I did not use that there. And since the authentication is done here and now like simply like this app, how it's designed is, let's say in index.html, like you have like it calls main.txt file, and in this like main.txt file calls app.txt file. If you see the app.txt file, it has like slash pages, and like if you go on like let's say like we'll be deploying this on localhost. If it's for directly localhost, it's go for landing page, and if it's slash landing page, it's again landing page slash login to login page and slash sign up. Like we had designed these pages like last time we had only the landing page. Now we had login page, we had the sign up page, we had the landing page, and we have the forget password page as well. And let's say in login page, not this, like in landing page, like you have the buttons like where you we will link to slash login here like goes into like login page again. Same way slash sign up, it actually if there is a button like sign up page, it goes for slash sign up. And to install this app, maybe like from here, I think like I'll pass over to Ankit to explain the code a bit. Yeah, Ankit, 1 second. Let me stop sharing.
Hey, hi everyone. Okay, let me start my screen sharing. Okay, so I already did a setup, but yeah, I can do it again. So yeah, I think yeah, let me introduce myself first before I go. So I'm Ankit, and I am a full stack developer, and it's like around 4 years till now. I'm also based in Porto. Like initially 1 year I was in India, then I'm in Porto for like 3 years, and mostly I work with React and Node.js and PostgreSQL DB. Yeah, thanks to Saga for calling me in this session. And okay, so I'll start with where he cloned the repo, and generally this is the npm packaged project. So generally in any npm project you will find this uh, kind of a JSON file which has all the libraries, but you need to install those libraries to start with. So generally you can start with npm install, or you can simply also give npm I. It's the same, and it will install everything which is there in these dependencies. uh, so all these libraries are required for this whole application to run. So this is the first step you need to do. And then once you have all the libraries, you will also notice some scripts over here, and this is how you will start. So for now, you can start with the this dev command. So to run any command from here, you just need to do npm run, and then if I want to run this command, then it will run the application. So if I do npm run dev, it should start the application. So I already had started the application, so that's why it started in another port. But yeah, and then if you go, if I reload this,
I,
uh,
I think I generated new credentials right now, like new config file, right? Should I send that?
it's fine. I will just explain the code, and then I will again hand it over to you,
Okay,
so that you can work on your you can show the auth again.
okay.
Um, Yeah, I will try to not go do deep into technical details, but just an overview. Uh, why generally we use these libraries for website, and what's the advantage of it, and how it's uh, stored. So generally, like there are like couple of frameworks and libraries in market, like Angular, React, and one of the advantage of React is that it's fast, and the code which we write is very readable. So for example, I will just open one website which is a bit traditional, I will say, like your Wikipedia. It's so we will kind of, I mean, of course our website is not fully designed it, but just to show you how this website behaves and this Wikipedia behaves, and how it's the website built in React is much better than that. um, so generally, like in our browser, the browser usually display your website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and this is how Wikipedia is designed. So for example, if I go to any link, you can see the entire page is reloaded, and if you see this HTML, like if I go to another page, this whole page, I will say, the entire, all the elements are updated together. um, like for example, if I go to view source, you will see that it gives you kind of a reload, which is actually what's happening, and everything changes. And now if I go to our React application, and if you see this root, uh, you will see that nothing really changes. And just the divs which are inside this root are changing, and this is the main difference of React, where we say there are different pages, but actually it's just a single page, and we display the content dynamically to give you an impression that this is changing the page, and that's why it's very fluid, it's very fast, and that's why we use React, because and that's why we also call this as an SPA, like single page application, where we update this content dynamically. And if you go to our code base now, as I said before, like your browser will only understand HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But then how does this, if I will take one of the file, for example, let's take login page. You will see that there is no HTML, CSS, and JavaScript over here. Yeah, they here you can see HTML, but actually, technically, this is not an HTML. This is still, we call this as JSX, which are kind of similar to HTML. So, so what React does is that it gives you more readable way to design the code. Like this is where you will write HTML code, and it is almost very similar to how you write HTML normally. If you have worked with HTML, so this is very similar to HTML. And then you can, for example, here we have displayed the error, and there can be different errors, and we want to show different error at a time. So this error variable is state is managed from over here. So so we have a way to dynamically update your content of your website, and that's why React is very readable and it's very used everywhere, where you can do this very easily. Whereas if you are going to do with normal JavaScript, it will take lot of number of lines of code to do the same thing. But now, like, how will our browser know that this whole application, this all this to how will the browser doesn't know about the React? It doesn't know about any framework. So this is where this white we have this white config, and since you guys are mostly from the DevOps background, there we need someone who will kind of bundle this application into normal HTML, CSS, and JavaScript like this, and which can be deployed or run on the browser. So this is what this white does. It builds this application so that it can be run on browser. So for example, we wrote this login page, and if I show you this same login, you will see the same login page over here as well. If I reload this, so see, this is the same file, but if you look at the content from here, it's not the same as what we wrote. Um, so this is what the build tool does. It converts it into the normal JavaScript, which browser will understand, and that's how we write the code in more readable way, and it converts the code into JavaScript, which can be easily displayed by the browser. So yeah, I hope I didn't go too much in technical details, but yeah, I before handing over to Sagar, like I will just tell you like the overall design. Like when your browser calls this uh, index.html, we the browser sees this main script, and when I go to the main script, it creates this root element, and when you see this root element, it everything will be only under the root. So for example, even if I go to login page, you will see the root element stays as it is. So everything will occur under this root div, and this is where the React application works. Okay, let me go from here. And yeah, Sagar already explained you, these are the routings, and this is where we keep all the components. And the advantage of keeping it like this is that when we will have more pages, we can reuse these components. Like if I want to use login as a pop-up somewhere, like if I don't want to use login as a separate page, I want to just show a pop-up of this just this view, I can just use this component again. And that's also another reason for React to be very popular, is you can use reuse these components. And yeah, and then we have this Firebase, which if I go to the login, So one of the very generally we start with Firebase because it gives you a lot of inbuilt method which help us to do the setup very quickly. So this sign in with email and password comes from Firebase. And this Firebase, when we do npm I, we install this library. So when we install the library, you can go to actual what you say the actual implementation, and you can also see that it will be in node modules. So when you do npm I, this code is installed when you do npm I, uh, and then you can just simply use those methods like uh, here what did was like these are the HTML components, and we extracted the email what user typed from the input and the password, and then we just pass those in the sign in with email and password. uh, yeah, and then there is a auth which where we did the main setup. So where we had this configuration, and this is something which you will get from the documentation. So this is pretty. I mean, even if you use different service, different other service than Firebase, you will get their own methods, and you can initialize those authentication, and then you can use those. So yeah, I will hand over to Saga to show you the working of the website, how we do the login, sign up, and forgot password. But yeah, this is like general overview of technical, not too much details, but yeah, general overview of how this website is rendered in the browser. Um,
Yes, thanks, Ankit. I think you should need to stop screen share for me to share.
yeah, I will stop it. Okay, yeah, over to you.
Yes. So from here, I'll take over again. And there was like one limitation, like which Ankit told me yesterday, like because of the Firebase and all. Let me run this again. Let me show first. I had already installed. Yeah, runs under localhost 5173. So if I actually like before I log in, I need to have an account. So for that, I'm actually what I'm doing, I'm actually going for sign up. And for sign up, I'm actually giving something like my own email ID. Let's say because I want to check on forget password as well. So when I created account, it says like account created successfully, sign up now, move to like login page, like this is slash login. And now if I go for gym, like back to Firebase and it shows there is like authentication, there was like one user. And now if I go for like database and there is actually my credentials that got created actually. So like this is how it works. Like the number of credentials, like you could create back and forth again. The same way if I go for like let's say like I forgot my password and here is where let's say I go for Sagar. And now if I go for my own email account, I would actually able to get this like because it goes into junk by default. Yeah. Now if you see like there is like a forget password link and all this all comes from Firebase itself. Like nothing we did. Like we integrated it to our app as well. In the same way, let's say like back to login or something. Let me use a random email ID like which doesn't exist actually because it's not there in Firebase or something. Okay. So this says like invalid credentials or maybe one second, where is this code? Mm, and this is the error. Yeah, in login page there is invalid email or password. I think it should show. Okay. Okay, let me try with my own password itself. It doesn't show up error. No, okay, fine. I'll leave this. Invalid credentials. And one more thing is here, like we had found out, like let's say Since like this login page, actually like I had designed only login, sign up and forget password page. If I actually try to log in, it actually takes me back to the landing page itself. It's because like yeah, it's because like once I was successful, like here I said like if it is like authenticated, like if the authentication is successful, take me to landing page like slash like we I navigated it to landing page. So that's how it's designed. And the same way here, like one more, like because like we had used Firebase directly on the front end code. I think there was something like which Ankit told me. I don't know. It's because like I could check the credentials here itself and get this file itself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So since I had deployed Firebase credentials directly on the code, like let's say, because on front end, and that's where because like anybody, let's say like if a hacker or somebody comes, like he has access to my database directly, and like which is not recommended to have a database credentials on the front end code itself, like what we did on Firebase. So that's where like we'll have API for this, like separate API for logins and all, so that like this wouldn't show up in the page directly, which we will be discussing in further sessions. Till here, everything is clear, right? We just had the login, sign up, forget page, and like we used Firebase authentication here to authenticate to have a users and all. Yeah. So, anyone has any queries still here regarding the code part or the deployment part? Yes, no? Okay.
Mm, no, sir, nothing
Yeah.
is clear.
Okay.
Hi, bro.
If you guys could turn your
Sagar bro.
cameras on. Sorry, anyone has doubts?
Yeah. Yes. No, no. Me, Vivek.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like how the Firebase will work? It is a database or it is a authenticator app?
both actually. You could actually have authentication and database both. And like we had used sign in, like email password sign in, like for authentication. And we had used Firebase data, Firestore database. If you see, if you had seen the where we need to store the credentials somewhere, right? Like the username and password. For that, we had used Firestore database, which is provided by Firebase itself. You could actually use a different DB as well, but we had used the same one, which is provided by Firebase. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. If you guys could turn your cameras on, we'll take a screenshot and we could just end this here.